Screen 3 da. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining the session. We will start in 2 minutes. Please wait for others to join. Thank you. Okay, we will start the session. Good evening, everyone. I am Saravanan, Prime Minister Research Fellow of National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli. So, I'm selected as a PMR of TA for the NPTEL course, Municipal Solid Waste Management. Thanks for joining the course and this problem solving session. My session will go in a phase like first 1 hour we are going to discuss about the same course material what Dr. Ajay Kalamdar sir was discussed in the video. Then the next 1 hour we are going to solve the previous year assignment questions that as a practice for your assignment solving. Here is a brief introduction about me. So I am Saravanan and I did my BTech in Civil Engineering from Government College of Engineering Bodi and my MTech from College of Engineering Gindi and University. And I have joined in National Institute of Technology Tiruchirappalli in 2021 and I got Prime Minister Research Fellowship by submitting my project proposal to the Government of India. You can go through the pmrf.in website for more information about Prime Minister Research Fellowship. So, as a part of deliverable, I have to teach 4 hours in a month in the nearby colleges or in the schools or in the NPTEL platform to compensate my deliverables. So, I am taking 2 hour session every week on Tuesday 6 to 8 p.m. For the course Municipal Solid Waste Management. Along with me, another two PMRF scholars are also taking problem solving sessions. You can also go through the session details from the mail. Yeah. Hope I am audible. If you have any doubt, please post in the chat box. I will answer the question in between the sessions, or you can also unmute and ask if you want to discuss in between. Okay, so you are welcome to discuss anything in between the class also. Yeah, so hope the screen is also visible. I'll start the session now. So, first, as an introduction to solid waste management, why we need to discuss about this course, why it's important to study about the solid waste, about its generation, about its treatment, about its management, why these are all important in the modern era. Because in olden age, also we have produced the solid waste, but there is no scheme of management or treatment for the solid waste separately. We are simply using the water as it is, we are simply discarding the wastewater as it is, and the waste also whatever we have produced, we have discarded as it is to the environment. It didn't cause any effect to the health or to the environment. But in the modern era, we are producing the waste that is not biodegradable or not treated by the nature on its own. That's why we have to discuss about the solid waste management and water and wastewater treatment schemes. So this course fully discuss about the solid waste and its management programs. So what is first the solid waste? This is the material that somebody identified as the useless or unwanted thing. So it may be not useful for the person who is going to discard, but it may be useful for some other person who are in need. So we should not think the waste as a waste. It can be a resource for another person. That's what we have mentioned here. So that's what we have mentioned here. The waste is something which is useless or unwanted to the person who is discarding it. So it is of heterogeneous in nature. That is another drawback in the solid waste management. If any material which is homogeneous, we can easily treat, or we can easily adopt a technology for its management. But whenever the mass or a material which is of heterogeneous in nature, it is difficult for the government or the authority to treat it. So we can define this material in different forms like refuse, garbage, rubbish, scrap, or debris. So refuse is the one which is exact term for the solid waste what we are dealing with, which is utilized as a raw material for some other purpose also. That's what we have discussed. It is the solid waste for the person who have used and discarded, but it may be used as a raw material for some other purpose. Another term is called garbage. Garbage which is discarded from the kitchen or the wet waste, which is of mostly biodegradable nature, like food waste or kind of leaves or an agricultural waste. That and all we will call as garbage, which will have high density, high moisture content. This type of waste we will call as garbage. Another term is rubbish. Rubbish is the one which has high ash content, which is of like a wood. In rural areas, we can see people are using wood as a fuel, so it will have high ash content. So that and all we will call as rubbish. Another term is scrap. Scrap is the word we will use for industries or any other waste which have high metal contents, like steel manufacturing industry or any other industry which is have producing waste which have high metal content. Another term is debris. Debris we will usually use for the construction and demolition waste, which is of more density, like bulky waste. In construction industries, if you see, after demolition or during construction of a building, will produce lots of waste kind of. It will be again a mixture of steel, concrete, stones, everything will be mixed. It's a bulky waste that is called as debris. So whenever we can see waste generation in all forms, from in an industry, from raw materials to the disposal site. If you see the manufacturing flow chart of an industry, once extracting the raw material from the nature, we are producing waste material. While manufacturing process also, we are producing waste material, and during secondary manufacturing or processing the product, we are producing waste material, and after once it reaches the consumer, while use also we are producing waste. and during disposal again it will become a waste. So every part of manufacturing to the disposal site we are producing the waste in one or some other forms. So this is the whole process from raw material extraction to the manufacturing, use and disposal phase. Everywhere we are producing the waste. You can see from the dotted line how much waste we are producing from the extraction to the disposal point. For an example, if you take a coffee bean production and usage, if you see coffee beans are extracted and roasted. So during roasting, we will get this shell as a coffee chaps. So this is again a waste from the coffee manufacturing industry that can be used as a raw material for the production of headlight covers in the car parts, you can see. So that is a recyclable waste or a utilization of waste as a raw material for some other purposes. And while using this roasted coffee beans in our homes, that we are all consumers, so while using this coffee beans, again we are producing waste after utilizing after its purpose. So it will be disposed as a garbage. So everywhere you can see the waste is produced in the industry forms. So again, why we need to study this solid waste, and if we are not managing this solid waste, what are the consequences of non-management of the solid waste? So it has a direct relationship with the public health and the environment. If you see, improper disposal can cause plague. You can see Surat plague in 1949. It causes a huge outbreak. Because of that only the solid waste management rules was framed in India. So the improper management of solid waste may affect the whole community in a massive level. So another improper management will leads to landfilling, that is called dumping of waste in open area. Again it will contaminate the surface water and the groundwater bodies. Again, improper landfilling may cause greenhouse gas emission. So whatever the consequences of landfills, like improper disposal of waste in the dump sites will cause water pollution, air pollution in the form of greenhouse gas emission, and rapid fire outbreaks and landslides. These are all consequences of improper disposal of solid waste in the dump sites. So if you dispose the solid waste in the water bodies, it will again harm the marine species, and it will affect the food safety and health issues, and coastal tourism will get affected. It will again contribute to the climate change in the form of greenhouse gas emission. You can see this turtle was threatened, I mean entangled by this plastic net, and you can, I think you have read about this Pacific garbage patch. This is a massive Pacific garbage patch. You can see this extends about 10,000 kilometers square in the South Pacific region. You can Google it and you can see Greater Pacific Garbage Patch. So a big island was formed with only the plastic waste that is suspended on the Pacific Ocean. So again, why the waste is getting increased? Because of the development in the community, like packaging, plastics. After the outbreak of plastic production, the waste generation of waste is also getting increased. So how the solid waste affect us in recent years? So whenever there is an improper disposal of solid waste, it will again clog the drainage path. Once we are disposing the solid waste in the outskirt of our cities, it will be dumped in the dump sites. But improper disposal on the drainage lines will cause again a cloggage of sewer lines, which will affect the flow of rainwater. It will again cause the flood in the region. So reduction in the number of migratory birds due to the consumption of contaminated food form of solid waste, and stray animals again dying due to the consumption of plastic bags. You can see how much plastic bags was taken out from a cow. You can see some of the YouTube videos. Search in YouTube, you'll get some videos. So you can see how much plastic bags was taken out from stray animals like cow and dogs. And fire may also happen in dump sites. You can see about this recently in 2021-23, we got Brahmapuram landfill in Kerala got a huge fire outbreak, and Mumbai and Delhi dump sites also got fire. In Delhi, you can see Okla and Gazipur dump sites often getting fire. So I am in Tiruchirappalli. Here also we are having one dump site in Ariyamangalam that is also often getting huge fire because of the methane gas that is accumulated in the dump site. So this gas is easily prone to catch fire. Yeah, in olden India also we have a solid waste management scheme which is mentioned in old literatures like Manusmriti. Throwing of garbage, dust and rubbish is considered as a punishable act. And in Arthasastra also it was mentioned about sanitation and sanitation is essential. It was mentioned as a habit, not as a part of technology or a management. Sanitation was considered as a habit. In Ayurveda, it was mentioned wholesomeness of water and pure air as the pollution of both cause many type of diseases. That was mentioned in Ayurveda. So once the solid waste was disposed improperly, it will again affect water and it will again affect the air and it will contaminate the quality of both the quality of the whole environment. So it may lead to human health effects. Yeah. So, how to manage solid waste in New India? Initially, it was started with the Surat plague attack, as I have mentioned, in 1980s itself. It got a huge outbreak in Surat in Gujarat. The plague for a whole community due to the improper disposal of solid waste. It leads to the formation of municipal solid waste management and handling rules in 1987. Then the public interest litigation was filed by Dr. Almitra Patel. So it was a landmark uh, in her life. In 1996, the public interest litigation in the Supreme Court against the open dumping of municipal solid waste. So this leads to the drafting of municipal solid waste management rule in 2000. This was the first rule came into picture for exclusively for the solid waste management. Then different programs like JN Nuram, like Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission for the fund allocation for the different programs like smart cities. So all the smart cities was considering this solid waste management as a major part because the city can't be smart without proper solid waste management. Then it leads to the formation of Swachh Bharat mission in 2014. The Honorable Prime Minister started in 2014 the Swachh Bharat mission. Uh, Sorry. So all please be muted. If you want to ask anything, please put it in the chat box. Thank you. Okay, so it leads to the formation of Swachh Bharat mission in 2014. In Swachh Bharat mission, the major aim is to create public awareness because without public awareness, we can't do any solid waste management programs. So another major implication of Swachh Bharat mission is waste segregation. It was majorly emphasized in the Swachh Bharat mission 2014. At the source itself, we have to segregate and we have to give the waste. And unless and until the waste was segregated, it can't be treated. So no technology can be adopted for the mixed waste. Once the waste is at least segregated into dry and wet as a two category, it can be easily recycled or it can be easily composted or the energy production can be done from this dry waste and this wet waste can be used for composting. This type of different treatment option can be adopted only when the waste is segregated at the source itself. Once the waste got mixed, it will be called as commingled waste. The commingled waste cannot be treated. So waste segregation waste segregation at the source is majorly emphasized in Swachh Bharat mission. Then the solid waste management rule was again renewed in 2016. This was the latest rule as of now. So after this, we have a lots of rules for exclusively for plastic waste. So plastic waste management rule 2016 was there. Battery rules 2016 was there. E-waste management rule 2016 was there. And then construction and demolition waste rule 2016. And then biomedical waste. And then hazardous waste. This type of different sectors of solid waste management rules were also framed after 2016. So this also you can go through CPCB website, that is Central Pollution Control Board website. You can get all these rules and you can go through. But this course is only exclusively for municipal solid waste management. Whatever we are producing as a community from the household level, that is called municipal solid waste management. Yeah. So, what are the functional elements of solid waste management? From generation to the disposal point, we are classifying the solid waste management into 6 functional elements. First is waste generation. Once the waste is getting generated, it should be properly stored. Otherwise, anyway, we will usually store in a dustbin, or as a community level, we can store in a big dustbin at the end of the road or at the outskirt of these roads. Curbs we will call as curb storage. At the end of the road, we will store. So this type of storage we are going to discuss in the upcoming weeks. So after generation, anyway, we are going to store and handle the waste. The waste can be collected from the household itself, that is called door-to-door collection, or the waste can be collected from the bigger dustbins that is kept at the end of the community or the roadside. So that is called primary collection. Once the waste gets collected, it should be transported to the disposal site or the treatment facilities. So that is called secondary collection, and it should be transported either to the processing or the transformation facility, or to the disposal site like landfill or dump sites, or it should be transferred to the transfer stations where the waste will be segregated into different based on different application. Then the remaining inert waste or unusable waste will be transported to the disposal facility. So this is the broader or overview of the functional element of solid waste management. So first the waste will get generated, then it will be stored in a specific area or a specific dustbins. Then it will be collected as a door-to-door collection, that is called primary collection, or from the dustbins, that is called secondary collection. Then it will be transported to the processing facility, or it will be transported to the transfer stations. From there it will be treated, and the final unusable waste will be transported to the disposal facilities, where it will be covered in a landfill, or it will be dumped openly as an open dump site. In India, we are majorly following this open dump site, and now from 2016 onwards, the solid waste management rule mandates to clear all the open dump sites by the process called biomining. That's the project I am working on. That's the biomining of older dump sites. Yeah. So we are going to discuss the 6 functional element in detail. First, the waste generation. Whenever the material is identified as no longer being a value for the user, then it will be discarded as a waste. So you can see the market waste or the food waste or any other forms of waste as a generated, which is having no longer a value for the user, then it is a waste. So how to handle and store the waste in a storage container is having again two different parts. One is Hall container system, another one is stationary container system. Hall in the form of it can be transported to any place. Stationary means it will be always stationary at the same place. So initially in the olden days the Hall container system was used. So the whole container was transported to the disposal site. Again it will be brought emptied, and the empty container will be brought to the place, that is called a Hall container system. But nowadays stationary container system was adopted. The waste from the container was emptied into the vehicle, and the vehicle alone will go to the disposal site. So this is two type of container system. How this so we can collect from the door to door, and it will be transported to this type of big containers at the end of the community or at the outskirts. Then from this it will be taken to the bigger vehicles or the smaller vehicles. That is called a primary collection. So gathering of solid waste from the door to door to at the community level, or to door to door collection. These two types of collection system we are using in India. Then secondary collection is from the smaller vehicle to bigger vehicles, or from the container to the disposal point. That is called secondary collection, from dustbin area to the landfill disposal site. So this collection itself will contribute to 90% of the solid waste management cost. So if we are allotting 1 crore for the management solid waste in a city, then 90 lakhs will be used only for collection itself, because it requires lots of vehicle, manpower, and fuel requirement. So 90% of total solid waste management cost was for collection itself. Then processing and transformation. Mostly this type was ignored in India. in the olden days, because whenever the waste got collected, it simply disposed in the open dump sites as a mixed waste. But nowadays, lots of transformation, I mean processing technologies was adopted in major cities, like wet waste was going to the compost plant, recyclables like paper, plastic, textiles was taken care by the MRF, that is material recovery facilities, and this type of technologies were also adopted in India nowadays. So that is called the processing and transformation of waste. Whatever we can extract from the waste, that we are doing by adopting different technologies, but it should not be ignored, otherwise the volume of waste getting disposed in the dump site will get increased. Then there comes transfer and transport. Whenever this is a there is a new word called transfer stations. So this is the midpoint from the generation point to the disposal point. So before disposing everything that was collected from the generation point to the disposal site, intermediate point is called a transfer station. Here the bigger vehicles will dump all the waste, and whatever the extractable or recyclable items will be taken care, and then the remaining material will alone go to the dump site or the disposal point. So the transfer station plays a major role in the reduction of volume of waste disposed. So this is the transfer of waste from the smaller collection vehicle to the larger transport equipments, and the subsequent transport of waste to the disposal sites. So this transport can be done by different methods, like rail transport we can do if the quantity of waste is high, and there is no roadways, then we can use waterways, and hydraulic transport, like vehicles with a hydraulic jack. Nowadays it will automatically empty the container, it will automatically take and empty the container and replace the container at its own place. This type of hydraulic vehicles also there in India now. And pneumatic refuse collection. This we can see in foreign countries, where the waste will be taken care by the underground pipes, by the pneumatic refuse collection system. Whenever the waste is dumped in this type of bins, then it will be automatically pushed to the disposal or the treatment facility by the underground pipelines. So this is called pneumatic refuse collection system. Then finally, the disposal. Disposal in the sense, whenever there is a waste which is having no more value, then it should be disposed. When after extracting all the energy out of it, after extracting all the recyclables and recoverable out of it, then only it should be disposed in the dump site or the landfills. Whenever it's having any energy value or any value, then it should not be disposed in the disposal sites. This is the ultimate fate of the solid waste. So disposal, we can see the sanitary landfills or open dump site. The first figure discusses about the open dump site. In a land simply dumping the waste, so it will again leads to major consequences to the environment, like water pollution, air pollution, fire breakthrough, landslides. So today also you can see landslides in major regions. Dump sites also will have the same kind of landslides because of its uneven slope stability, and you can see huge mountains of solid waste in the dump sites nearby your area. Also, every cities you can find a dump site, so it will have a huge volume of waste in the form of hill. So that's called open dump site. If it is made in an engineered manner or a scientific manner, then it is called sanitary landfill. So once the waste is collected, day to day it will be disposed in the form of cell. Each cell will be formed and it will be properly covered with the daily cover, and underground we have to seal with the clay liners and HDPE liners to protect the groundwater and the surface water bodies. Finally, in the top also we have to cover with the cover system, and proper leachate collection and treatment facility, proper gas collection and utilization facility will also be there in the sanitary or scientific landfills. So once you are disposing in the sanitary landfill, then after completion you can see it will be like a simple park or a hill form. There won't be any effect to the environment after sealing. This is called a scientific manner of disposal of solid waste. So we are going to discuss about open dump site and sanitary landfills in the upcoming weeks. Yeah. So for the proper management of solid waste, we have to first identify what are the types of solid waste, how much is generated, and what are the characteristics of the collected waste. Then only we can able to manage the solid waste in with the proper treatment facility. Without knowing the quantity and the characteristics of the waste, we can't treat the solid waste. So it is mandatory to know what is the type of the waste, and what is the quantity of the waste getting generated, and what is the characteristics of the waste. So first we are going to see the types of solid waste. So in that, three types: one is municipal waste, industrial waste, and hazardous waste. So municipal waste is the waste that is that contains food waste, ashes, residues, construction and demolition waste, and the treatment plant waste. Whenever you as a civil engineer and environmental engineer, you can you know about water treatment facilities or wastewater treatment facilities. There you will get sludges. That is the treatment facility, treatment plant waste. The sludge will also come to the disposal point as a solid waste. Then special waste from the municipal area. This all comes under municipal solid waste. Then what will be the industrial waste? It will be in the form of liquid or solid waste generated from the industries. Then hazardous waste will be in the form of liquid, solid, or gas, or the sludge that is having more health hazards, like dangerous and potentially harmful. So there are three kind of characteristics to mention the waste as a hazardous. One is ignitable, another one is toxicity, reactivity. So this kind of characteristic, if this kind of characteristic is there in a waste, then it is called hazardous waste. I can see a question in the chat box. Where can we get the recordings of the section? Actually, we are recording the session, and the session will be uploaded in the YouTube channel, and the same link will be given in the Excel sheet. The Excel sheet you can find in the Swayam platform. After, at the end of the lectures, you can find problem solving sessions. There you can find the YouTube link. So you can easily see these recordings in the NPTEL Swayam platform itself. So you can see these recordings anytime. Every week we are posting these recordings in the YouTube also. So better you can come in online also from 6 to 8 p.m. Every Tuesday evening. Wednesday you are having assignments every week. So better you can join by Tuesday, and you can learn the session, and you can submit the assignments on Wednesdays. Yeah. So I'll continue the session. So hazardous waste are discarded from the commercial products, byproducts from the industry, or from the households also. So from the households, you can see some paint boxes, batteries, and any diapers, and this kind of medical like cotton with a pus, or any kind of blood related things. Everything will come under hazardous waste, but it will be generated from household itself, but it comes under hazardous waste. Okay. So in this three category, we are going to discuss only about the municipal solid waste, and we are going to discuss about the types of municipal solid waste based on its source. So once the solid waste is getting generated from the residential area or the household activities, then it is called residential waste. From the commercial part, like restaurant, retail stores, hotels, markets, or a warehouse, it is called a commercial waste. And once it is getting generated from the institution like a education institution, or administrative, or a public building, like any office, government offices, or an institute like schools, colleges. In NITs also we are having a separate solid waste management facility. So household or residential waste majorly contains food or plastic waste. Commercial waste majorly contains this type of food waste or wet waste. And institutional waste will majorly have electronic waste or paper, plastic alone. So you don't have much of wet waste. Yeah. So these are the types of municipal solid waste based on its source. Yeah. So you can see the figure for this municipal solid waste, industrial waste, and construction and demolition waste, and agricultural waste. Agricultural waste is the waste coming from the field, orchards, and wine farms. It has a, like, it's a litters or weeds, we can say. These are all the wastes can be handled separately. But basic segregation we have to think. Basic segregation is simple wet and dry waste segregation. Very important to design the collection system. Then the treatment option, because we have to avoid the contamination of this wet and dry waste. Once you are mixing this, whatever the kitchen waste and the paper or the plastic waste, then it will be difficult to handle by this collectors, or by the treatment option facilities. So once the waste is at least segregated in the form of wet and dry, it is easy to handle. That's the major thing we have to think about. Then after understanding the different types of waste, we have to think about how to sample the waste for this treatment facility. So before designing any treatment option, first you have to know about the characteristics. For finding the characteristic, you have to collect the sample. So how to collect the sample for the solid waste? If it is a water, simply you can go and mix the water and you can collect a sample. Based on the codal provision, you can simply collect how much requirement. But because water is homogeneous in nature, anywhere you can find water is homogeneous in nature. But unlike water, solid waste is in heterogeneous form. So you can't collect as a single place and you can say this is a solid waste. So you have to collect as a representative sample. So to collect a representative solid waste sample, you have to follow a method called quartering procedure. This was designed by NEERI. I think you know about NEERI. It's an National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, head office is in Nagpur. So it was designed, quartering method was designed by NEERI in India. So you have to collect at least 100 kg of the waste and you have to make it in a cone form, and you have to split this into 4 equal quarters, that is 25 kg each. Then the 2 diagonal quarters you have to take and mix, that is a 50 kg. Again this heap was divided into 4, it will be 12.5 plus 12.5, it will be 25. This will again be taken into 4 quarters, and the final quarter will have 6.25 plus 6.25, 12 kg of 13 kg of waste was collected and used for analysis. So this is the yeah, this is the sampling procedure for solid waste. The sampling should be done for all the 4 seasons, 7 days a week, and at least twice in a season. Then only it will be a representative sample, because solid waste characteristics will vary every day. If it is a Monday to Friday weekdays, you will generate different types of waste. If it is weekend, your food pattern will also change, and the generation of waste will also change, and the quantity of waste will also change, and it will also change based on the seasons. So in dry seasons or summer season will generate different types of waste, and in winter season and rainy season will generate different types of waste. It will also vary with the days, like festival seasons will generate more waste. If the city is having different cultural festivals, then it will generate more waste during that period. So these are all factors to be considered while sampling the waste. So as a general, we have to sample the waste 7 days a week for in all the 4 seasons, at least twice in a season. So this is a codal provision. Then what are the different characteristics we have to analyze for the solid waste? So there are 2 major characteristics. One is physical characteristics, chemical, and biological also we can do for the solid waste. So the physical characteristics are first the composition analysis. What are the different things present in the waste, that is paper, glass, metals, plastics, inerts in the sense construction and mixed demolition waste. These are all the composition analysis. And what is the importance of this composition analysis is to select and operation of the equipment and facility, and to design the disposal facilities. கேக்குதா? கேக்குறது இல்லையா? லாஸ்ட் ஒரு 30 செகண்ட்ஸா கேட்கவே இல்லை. விட்டு வருது. நெட் கனெக்ட் பண்ணா எப்படி அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு. எல்லாத்தையும் கேளுங்க. Guys, am I audible? Please let me know if I am not audible in the chat box.
Perfectly audible, sir.
You are audible, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, Ajay sir will take sessions or not, sir?
Sorry? Come again? Sir, can you come again? Sorry.
Sir, Ajay Kalandar sir will take sessions in future.
I think it is a 12-week session, so he will take 2-3 live sessions. I don't know about the date of the live sessions, so usually you'll get live sessions.
Sir, your sessions will be on every Tuesday?
Yeah, every Tuesday, 6 to 8.
Every Tuesday, okay. And assignment will be uploaded on next day, sir?
On the next day itself, yeah. Assignments deadline is every Wednesday, but for the first assignment, they have given deadlines on 7th of August, and second assessment is also on 7th of August itself. So every Wednesday, you have to submit the respective assignments subsequently.
Sir, thank you for the information, sir. Sir, are you doing PhD?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Uh,
And your topic is biomining, sir?
yeah, can we discuss this thing after the session, please? Uh,
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mm.
Thank you.
Okay, we will continue the session. Um, so we are discussing about the physical characteristics of the waste, and this is the database of CPCB in 2000. It discusses about different composition of the municipal solid waste in major cities in India. You can see the biodegradable waste constitutes more than 40% in all the cities. Around 40 to 50% is biodegradable waste, that is food waste or kitchen waste or garden waste, that are all biodegradable waste. And inert waste constitutes about 50%, and the remaining 10% was constituted by the paper, textile, plastic, glass and metal. So on weight basis, if you see, biodegradable will constitute more and inert will constitute more. Paper and plastic will have less weight, so it's having less than 10%. But on volume basis, this composition will vary. So composition analysis can also be done in weight basis or volume basis. And major cities like Bhopal, Mumbai, Kolkata will have more than 10% of paper waste, and glass is more in Bangalore. So it vary with the development of the city, how much it is developing, or the developed cities will have different kind of waste composition. Yeah. So Coimbatore, if you see, 9% is textile waste, because it is a textile hub. So there may be different kind of it's based on culture and it's based on industrial activities also. The municipal solid waste composition will vary. Yeah. So continuing again, the composition of municipal solid waste in different cities in India. Yeah. So this composition will vary with the location, as I mentioned, hilly region, plain region, or based on the food type and the climatic condition, warm or cold. This all will contribute to the variation in the composition of the municipal solid waste, and it will vary with the season also. Like it is again a key factor, as I mentioned. Winter and rainy season will have different composition, and summer season will have different composition. And economy. Economy is another major factor. High income group will produce more solid waste, and low income group will produce different solid quantity of solid waste, and different proportion also. Low income group will produce more biodegradable waste. High income group will produce more plastic and paper waste. So these are all variation in the composition of solid waste based on the economy of the people. Yeah. So you can see here the variation in the composition in India from 1996 to 2011. In 1996, if you see, the orange color indicates the inert part. So inert was more during 90s, but in 2005 we can see the inert was drastically reduced, and green and red got increased. That is, paper and plastic got increased. Again in 2011, it again got increased and the inert waste was reduced. So this is due to the increase in the production of plastic, and this industrialization will leads to the increase in the production of plastic in the market. It will again leads to the production of plastic waste from the municipal from the residential people. Okay, so coming to the physical properties, second is the specific weight. So once you know the specific weight or the density, this we will call as a density of the solid waste, then only you can easily design the container or the collection vehicle capacity. So if the density of the waste is like 200 kg per meter cube, then only you can decide what are the vehicles to be sent to the respective area, or how much the bigger containers you need to store the solid waste. So the storage facility and the collection facility depends on this specific weight of the solid waste. Specific weight is simply the formula by weight by volume. So as I mentioned, the solid waste varies with weight and volume also. So some plastic, if you see, it will have less weight but more volume. But biodegradable, if you take, it will have more weight but lesser volume. So you can't decide any container or a collection vehicle based on this weight or volume. So you have to see a combined factor, that is specific weight or the density. So weight by volume, kg per meter cube, we have to find for the solid waste. Generally in India, it varies from 400 to 600 kg per meter cube. That is the typical density of municipal solid waste in India. So if you see in developed countries like US or China, this will again reduce, the density of the waste will get reduced because the weight will be reduced but the volume will be more, so it will be around 300 to 400 kg per meter cube. So for different types of waste you can see different densities, typical densities. So you can see the density is higher for food waste and density is very low for plastic waste, that is 64 kg per meter cube. As an average we can see 400 to 600 kg per meter cube. So in the third parameter in physical characteristics is particle size. So without knowing the particle size of municipal solid waste, we can't segregate the waste. So for proper segregation, we have to know the particle size. The particles, because if it is a nanoparticle, if you are designing, you can easily identify the size of the particle by normal sieving. If it is a soil particle, if it is a homogeneous mixture, you can easily identify the size of the particle. But coming to the solid waste, it is difficult to identify the size of the particle size of the solid waste because it is heterogeneous. Every particle will be in different size. So to take a representative size of particle size of the solid waste, we can use either of this formula. So we can adopt one side length, or we can take two sides of different particle, and you can take the average, or three-sided average, or root of L into W, or cube root of LWH. These are all the different formulas mentioned in the code to find the particle size. So once the particle size is known, we can easily design, or we can easily adopt any screening facility to screen or segregate different types of waste. So this you can see the trommel screen, or normal drum kind of structure with holes to segregate solid waste based on size. So whatever the particles having size lesser than this hole will come out and conveyed through different conveyor belt, and whatever the particle size greater than the hole size will retain in the drum and it will be collected separately. So this is simple physical separation based on size. So trommel screen again used in the biomining facilities in older dump sites, and again different size fraction equipments like ballastic separators, screw screens, star screens, were all different types of screening facility will be designed based on particle size. So you can also refer one of my publication. This was discussed about optimization of trommel screen in trommel screen performance in municipal solid waste landfill mining. So this I have published in last year. So you can refer this paper. I will upload this PPT in Google Drive. The same link you can get from Swayam portal. Yeah. Then another physical property is field capacity. This field capacity is very important because how much total moisture the solid waste can hold after draining after the downward pull of gravity. So whenever you are holding any solid waste, by gravity some of the water retained in the solid waste will get it will come out. So the remaining water content that can be held by this solid waste is called field capacity. The same we will study in hydrology or irrigation terms, how much the soil can hold the moisture. That is again a field capacity of the soil. The same parameter we are using for solid waste also. How much the solid waste can hold the water after after the downward pull of gravity. That is called field capacity. Why it's very important? Because the leachate formation is based on the field capacity or the water present in the solid waste. I hope you know about leachate. Leachate is the water coming out of the landfill or any kind of waste that is more contaminated water or an effluent that is coming out of the municipal solid waste, which is having a heavy metal content, higher BOD and COD ratio. These are all the characteristics of the leachate, which is very tedious to treat in normal treatment water treatment facilities, and it will affect again groundwater and surface water bodies. So if the field capacity of solid waste is less, then there will be less production of leachate. And this field capacity will vary with the applied pressure and state of decomposition. So if the pressure is more, then the field capacity will be less, and if the decomposition rate is high, then again it will be varying with the field capacity will vary with the decomposition rate. So you can see different pictures depicting the leachate coming out of landfills. So you can see different like a huge pond or a lake kind of leachate in older dump site. You can go and visit the dump site in your locality to understand about the leachate, how much it is generating, and you can see a thick liquor, thick black liquor coming out of the solid waste, which is having a highly toxic element in it. So, uh, now we have discussed about the physical characteristics of the solid waste, that is composition, field capacity, and particle size, and specific weight. Now we are going to discuss about the chemical characteristics of the solid waste. So, in chemical characteristics, again two classifications are there. One is proximate analysis, and the another one is ultimate analysis. In proximate analysis, it will be useful only when the solid waste is used as a used in the form of combustion, like how much energy we can get out of this solid waste, that can be calculated with proximate analysis. So first is moisture content. As you all know, moisture content we can measure in oven itself. So at 104 degrees for 24 hours, if you keep in oven, you can find how much moisture present in the solid waste. So this moisture content again will reduce the heating value. Once the solid waste is having high moisture content, then the energy content of the solid waste is reduced. So that again adds weight to the waste and the fuel without increasing the heating value. So if you get 1 kg of the weight, 1 kg of solid waste, it will have 50% of moisture, means so only 50% is having combustible value, and water is not having any combustible value. Yeah. So second parameter is ash. Ash furnace for 2 hours with open crucible. So crucible, as all I think you all from civil background and environment engineering background, you know what is muffle furnace and a crucible. Crucible is a kind of a container we can use at a high temperatures. So you can collect the solid waste in the crucible and you can keep in the muffle furnace at 550 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. After combustion, whatever left, that is called ash. And ash is very important in solid waste, because it is also not having any heating value or calorific value, simply the residue left over after combustion. But if the ash is more, then the industry or incineration facility will not accept the solid waste in its premises, because it will add again problem for the disposal of ash after combustion. That's why we are not using nowadays coal, because coal will produce more ash, but plastic will not produce more ash. So plastic can be used as a combustible material instead of coal. But once the plastic is mixed with this type of inerts, then again it will add to the ash content. So whenever the material is having less ash content, it is useful for combustion. Then the third factor is volatile matter. Volatile matter we can find at after ignition at 700 to 950 degrees Celsius in a covered crucible. So the crucible should be covered with a lid. Then whatever the portion that is lost, that is called volatile matter. Whatever is present, that is called fixed carbon. So fixed carbon is we can find with this mass balance equation: moisture plus ash plus volatile plus fixed carbon will contribute to 100%. So if you find moisture at 100 degree, ash at 550 degrees Celsius, and the volatile matter at 700 degrees Celsius, and you can subtract with 100, you can find the fixed carbon, that is the leftover volatile matter is removed. Yeah. So why we need to study about volatile and fixed matter? Because volatile matter is a portion of the solid waste which can be converted to gas before and during the combustion. But this fixed carbon won't have any combustion value, but this is another form of carbon which remaining on the surface of the grates or as a char. So not as a ash, but as a char, it will remain on the surface of the grates. So the fixed carbon should be low for the solid waste to be used in the combustion kilns. So this is another database from city of Punjab in India. You can see different parameters of different people, like high income, middle income, and low income people, and slums and the commercial area. So if you see, slum will have more moisture content. So all are 25 to 30%, but slums will have 34.4%, because the nature of their living and the culture of their living will add moisture to the solid waste what they are generating. And in commercial area, if you see, more of plastic and papers and wood will be produced, so it will again add to the ash content. And high income people will produce waste with more calorific value. So calorific value we are going to discuss in the ultimate analysis. So first we have discussed about the chemical characteristics. We have discussed about the proximate analysis, that is moisture, ash, volatile, and fixed carbon. In ultimate analysis, we are going to discuss about the elemental composition. Elements in the sense carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. We can easily mention is as CHONS. CHONS. These 5 elements are major when we are designing any treatment option for the solid waste. So this we are going to find by ultimate analysis. We are having different methods to analyze CHONS in a solid waste. By simple mass balance calculation we can use, or any analyzer. Nowadays in our lab also we have CHONS analyzer in NIT Trichy. So you can simply feed the solid waste, it will burn the waste and it will find how much CHONS in the solid waste. It will give in the form of direct result in the form of milligram per kg of solid waste. So why it's very important? Because if you know how much C and how much nitrogen, then you can easily design the composting facility based on the C/N ratio. And if you know how much oxygen and nitrogen is hydrogen is present, then this CH will add to the volatile matter. So how much CH is present, how much CN is present, these are all are useful for designing the treatment options. Yeah. So this is again in the city of Punjab, Jalandhar city of Punjab. The ultimate analysis results of different people. In slums again you can see carbon is more and nitrogen is 1.3. So C/N ratio is again, if you divide 30 by 1.3, it will be in the range of 28. So it is a good optimum level for using the waste as a compost. So this is the optimum C/N ratio to be used as a compost. So these are all treatment options we are going to see in the upcoming weeks. So as a overview, I am saying C and N are very important for analyzing for designing any treatment options. Yeah. So final characteristics is the energy content. Once we know all the parameters, we have to analyze how much energy is embedded in a solid waste. So we can easily find by in the terms of calorific value. So calorific value is, if you heat 1 kg of solid waste, how much energy in the form of kilojoules you can extract from the solid waste. That is the calorific value. 1 kilojoules per kg. If you heat or if you ignite or if you heat 1 kg of solid waste, how much kilojoules of energy you can get. So this can be useful to send a plastic waste to the cement plants as a combustion, or to any incineration plant. So once the calorific value of the waste is higher, that waste can be utilized in the incineration plant to produce energy. So waste to energy will be designed based on calorific value. So calorific value we can find by 3 methods. One is full scale boiler as a calorimeter, or using laboratory bomb calorimeter. So we have bomb calorimeter in our laboratory. This is a simple equipment. We can place 1 gram of waste and it will be burst inside the calorimeter. That why we are calling as bomb. So it will we will feed full of oxygen, it will be burst inside, and how much energy the waste is generating, that will be analyzed by the water present outside the bomb. So it will heat the water, and how much degree Celsius that was raised in the water outside the bomb was measured, and indirectly we are measuring the energy content of the solid waste. So this is the basic principle of bomb calorimeter. So we are placing 1 gram of sample inside the bomb, and we are adding oxygen, and by electrode we are bursting the solid waste, and it will produce heat. The heat will again boil the water present outside the bomb, and how much temperature that is increased in the water was measured, and indirectly the calorific value of the solid waste was measured. This is the principle of bomb calorimeter. And simply we can again, without this equipment, we can simply find the energy content based on the formula, that is Dulong formula. Dulong is a scientist. He proposed a formula to find the energy content of the solid waste. This is modified Dulong formula in the unit BTU by LB. LB is in terms of weight. So in India we are using kilojoules per kg. For conversion you can refer the table at the side. So 145 carbon, 610 hydrogen minus 1 by 8 oxygen plus 40S plus 10N. So if you understand how much CHNS from the ultimate analysis, simply you can feed the values here and you can find the energy content in terms of kilojoules per kg. So simple formula method also we can use to find the calorific value. So why we are finding calorific value? To use the waste in the waste for producing energy. Waste to energy plants are designed based on calorific value. Okay. Yeah. So here is another results of CPCB NEERI in 2006 for city having 1 lakh population and 1 to 5 lakh population and different population having how much moisture content. So if you see city with lesser population having higher calorific value, and city with higher population will have lower calorific value. This is a good inference we can get out of it. And the moisture content also is more for the city with a lesser population, and city with a higher population like Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai will produce lesser moisture content. This is again based on the uh, the culture of their culture and the life pattern of the people in the cities. So the calorific value of different fractions of solid waste is also given. So you can see organic matter will have lesser calorific value. As you know, plastic and paper will have more calorific value. Textile. So whatever I have marked as yellow are all combustibles like paper, plastic, textiles will have more calorific value. And some are inerts like glass, metal. If you burn, nothing we will get. So that is having zero calorific value. We can't get energy out of metals and glasses. So finally, we can also find metal content like how much heavy metal present in the solid waste, cadmium, chromium, nickel. These are all minute, fine level analysis of solid waste before treatment or before disposal. How much element will get out of the solid waste? So we can find using atomic absorption spectroscopy or ICP-MS, inductive coupled spectroscopy. These are all high-tech instruments used to find metal content of the solid waste. Yeah. So we have discussed about physical properties. We have discussed about chemical properties. Finally, we have also we need to discuss about the biological properties because the biodegradability of the solid waste is based on how much volatile matter or biodegradability of the solid waste. So we can design the composting facility based on the biodegradable fraction of the municipal solid waste. So how much this material can be converted to gas is also based on the biodegradable fraction. And if it is having more biodegradable fraction, then it will produce more odor when it is stored, because if you know once the municipal solid waste is stored in your household itself in the dustbin, it's having if it is having kitchen waste, then it will produce more odor because it's having high biodegradability. So biodegradability is the factor we have to consider to design biological treatment facilities like composting, anaerobic digester, like kind of biodegradable facilities. We have to consider BF, that is biodegradable fraction. So to find BF, we are having a formula 0.83 minus 0.028 LC, that is lignin content. So once you know the lignin content of the solid waste, you can easily find the biodegradable fractions. So biodegradability will contribute to the breeding of flies. If it is having more biodegradability, then it will be the home for more flies and larvae. Once it's developed, it is very difficult to get out of the container. So it will cause other problem because once the waste is stored in the container, it will be in the anaerobic condition. There won't be any air circulation. So it will be closed. So it will again there won't be any oxygen supply. It will be of anaerobic condition. So the readily decomposable organic matter will be converted to gas into CH4 and CO2, which will produce odor. Yeah. Okay, we have discussed about the characteristics and quantity and the composition of the solid waste. Now we are going to discuss about the waste quantification and its importance. This is the final lecture, and after that we are going to discuss about the assignments. So why the waste quantification is very important? To design, to select specific equipment, and to design the waste collection routes, and to design the MRF, that is the material recovery facilities, and the disposal facilities like landfill and the landfill or dump site. Landfills could be designed based on the quantity of the waste only. So if it is the dump site, we can easily quantify how much waste is present in the dump site by drone method, or any total station we can use to survey how much quantity is present in the dump site. But if it is the household waste, every household how much it is producing, or every city how much waste it is producing, that should be quantified before designing any treatment option. So for quantification, we are following different methods. So for quantification of solid waste, we have three different methods. One is I'll just move on to there. Yeah, for estimating the waste quantity, we have three methods. One is load count method, another one is weight volume analysis, another one is material mass balance analysis. So in load count analysis, we are simply using how many number of individuals in the house multiplied with how much waste they are producing in a day. Simple multiplication procedure will add to the load count analysis. If weight volume analysis is based on the collection vehicles. Once the collection vehicle is entering into the transfer station, it is measured in the weighing bridge. Again, once it is getting out, is again measured in the weighing bridge. So the difference will give you how much waste that is generated from a collected spot. So it will be measured in the transfer station. But whatever the collected waste is not the actual waste generated, because waste may be generated in 100 kg, but whatever the waste we are collecting may be 80 kg. So this 20 kg will not be collected, will also need to be accounted. So whatever the weight volume analysis is not accurate, because it is measuring the quantity of waste coming to the transfer station, not the quantity of waste that is generated. So waste quantity generated is different, waste quantity collected is different. So the collection, nowhere the collection efficiency will be 100%. If the collection efficiency is 100%, then the waste generated and the waste collected will be similar. Okay. And another one is material mass balance analysis. This we will use for industries. How much material coming in and how much product going out, and what are the outflows as a gas. Then remaining will be the solid waste. This type of simple mass balance formula we can use for material mass balance analysis. For known flow charts like industries or any commercial facilities, we can use this type of formula method. Yeah. And some of the data analysis we are going to see to assess the recyclable percentage in different countries, different states in India, how much waste production and how much recyclable percentage. You can see in South India, the waste production is also less and the recycling percentage is high. This kind of things you can see, because it is also depends on population and it also depends on the living per ton also. Yeah. And the quantity for the future will also be projected. And if you can see on different countries like South Asia, you can see the waste is getting increased from 2016, 2030 and 2050. Like the waste is getting increased and it also projected in 2050 we require a large kilometer square of area is required for the dump sites or the landfills. So we have to follow a pattern to produce lesser waste, or we have to adopt a method of recycling to reduce the quantity of waste that is generated. So this is the another chart that is denoting how much land requirement in kilometer square in future. So if you see how much land required in 2021 and how much required in 2051, so we have to think about the area constraint in India. Developing country like India having more population for the disposal of solid waste. Like countries like US can adopt landfill because they are having lots of land area. But countries like India should adopt some treatment facilities to convert the produced solid waste into different product, or to adopt proper recycling facilities to reduce the solid waste getting into the dump sites. Yeah. So whatever the waste generation should be mentioned in the unit of kg per capita per day. So wherever you see any book related to solid waste, you can see the generation unit is kg per capita per day. How much quantity per person is producing in a day. That is, in a residential or commercial area, we can find like this, because this is accurate. Without knowing this, we can't find in another unit. We can, if you are mentioning India is producing this much kg, means it is not representative. So based on the population of India and based on how much day it's producing, then only it will be like kg per capita per day. This is the representation of waste generation unit. If it is an industrial waste, then we have to mention in terms of kg of waste per product. To produce one pencil as a product, how much waste is generated. So our 100 per 100 pencils, how much kg of waste is generated. And for agricultural waste is also, per kg of raw product, how much waste is generated. So kg per raw product. So for residential area, you have to mention in kg per capita per day. For industries, we have to mention kg per product. If it is a sugar industry, per kg of sugar production, how much quantity of waste. If it is a water waste, how much liter. If it is a solid waste, how much kg of solid waste. So that is the representation. So in India, you can see typically 0.5 kg per capita per day. That is the typical value of waste generation in India for larger cities. For smaller towns, it will be 0.1 kg per day. In medium cities, it will be 0.3 to 0.4 kg per day. Although larger cities having more population, the generation rate is higher because the population is coming in the denominator. It should be lesser, but still the value is higher in the range of 0.5. So it's generating more, large cities are generating more waste than the smaller towns. So that is the inference we can get. So in different cities, you can find with the population, they have mapped the waste generation rate per kg per capita per day. So cities like Chennai having greater than 2 lakh population, having the per capita waste generation of around 0.6 kg per day, per capita per day. So it is in the range of very high because the population, if you multiply with the 2 lakh, then it will be a huge value. Yeah. So finally, as I have discussed, this is what are the factors that is affecting the waste generation rate. So waste, once it is mixed, that is called commingled waste. Once it is separated at the source itself, then it is called source separated waste. So the Swachh Bharat Mission and the Solid Waste Management Rule 2016 majorly emphasizing the source separation. Then only it will be easy to recycle or treat the waste. So that's called source separation is major in terms of solid waste management. So once the waste is mixed, that is called commingled waste. Once the waste is source segregated, then it's called source separated waste, which is useful for recycling programs. Yeah. Uh, uh, what are the factors that is affecting the waste generation? Variation in the generation of the collection rates, it will vary with, as I mentioned, daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonally. And largest variation with the individual residents and commercial areas, and it will peak during the festival seasons. And the size of the waste source increases, the waste variation in the peak day, week, and month decreases. If you see different state and its collection efficiency, like Maharashtra will have more than 98 percentage of collection efficiency, and Kerala is having lesser collection efficiency. Collection efficiency in Kerala is less than 40%, whereas in Maharashtra it is greater than 95%. This is again, it will affect the treatment option and the disposal things. Yeah. So the factors affecting the solid waste, the waste generation rate, the first is the source reduction. Once the waste is reduced at the site itself, then there won't be much generation. If the people are shifting from normal things to the recyclables, reusable products like packaging materials to this kind of ceramic materials, then the material can be reused in the source itself. Then there won't be much waste production. So whenever the waste is reduced in the source itself, then it is then the quantity of waste generated will be reduced. And so substitute recyclable reusable products like for disposals and single use products like reusable plates and cutleries, refillable beverage containers, cloth diapers and towels. Instead of disposable diapers, we can use cloth diapers, and towels instead of tissue papers. These are all different substitutional methods that will reduce the waste generation. And greater durability and repairability products, like once you are using any electronic items that is having lesser durability, then the waste production will also be higher. So we have to purchase anything which should have high durability and high repairability. Once it is got repaired, it should be repairable, then only the waste generation will also get reduced. And use fewer resources wherever possible. We have to reduce the packaging things. We have to reduce how much paper we are using for printing or writing. These are all the common practice to reduce the waste at the source itself, and develop rate structures that encourage generator to produce lesser waste. Once the government is setting more value for the waste that is collected, if they are fixing a amount, like you can note down in your income tax or the house tax, you can see SUC rate, SUC tax, that is solid waste utilization and collection tax. You can see in your house tax while paying in the next month, you can see SUC tax. that is the amount like around 50 to 100 rupees. Based on cities it will vary. So 50 to 100 rupees every month we are paying for the collection and treatment collection of solid waste from the households. So if the rate is also, if the rate is fixed higher, then the amount of waste generated will also be reduced. So that is called rate developing rate structure that encourage generator to produce lesser waste. So these are all different substitutes like disposable diapers to cloth diapers, and substitution of cardboards for deliveries by cloth bags or durable packagings, and printing on two sides of the paper will also be a proper solid waste management technique. Second effect is on recycling activities. Once the recycling is higher in a community level, then the generation of waste will also will drastically reduce. So extend the recycling in a community level affects the collection rate. So the effect of recycling on waste generation need to be evaluated further. So in a country like India, we are not disposing anything without extracting the whole energy or the without utilizing the material to its fullest. So whenever you are using any cardboard, after the use we are again using for some other purposes. So this type of recycling habit will reduce the waste generation rate. So you can see how much collection, treatment and landfilling percentage in a pie chart. If it is 91% only collected in India, out of which 27% is treated and 73% is disposed in the landfills. So even though 91% of the waste generated is collected, only 9% was left over. All the 91% generated was collected, but only 27% was treated and the remaining was disposed in the landfills. So this percentage should increase to reduce the waste that is disposed. And the expectation you can see in the waste generation. So in 2017 it was 62 million tons in India, and in 2030 it was 165, and you can expect 450 million tons of waste in a day in India in 2045. This was the Hindu report in 2018. So this projection are all eye opener to for the people to reduce to practice this kind of recycling facilities to reduce the waste that is generated. So also you can see in the percentage of waste how much will be plastic, how much will be paper and metals, recycling rates. So 60% of the plastics is getting recycled, 27% of the paper is getting recycled, and 25% of the metal is getting recycled. So plastic is having more recycling value, but paper and metals are having lower percentage of recycling. So you can note down plastic is having more recycling value. So this is the thing I have mentioned. In 2030, India may require 88 kilometers square for landfilling. It is equal to the size of the city of Bengaluru. So you can imagine how much land area we require for the disposal of solid waste that is generated in 2030. So thinking of mind, we have to reduce the waste that is generated, and whatever generated, we are in a position to treat. So that much technology we have to adopt and design. And different recycling percentage for different composition of the solid waste was given. So major thing we have to think is like lack of social awareness. That is the major thing for the reduction of recycling. Unorganized waste collection and segregation mechanism, because lots of rack pickers will collect recycling things, that will again reduce the load to the MRF facilities. And lack of improved municipal infrastructure, lack of technology to maximize recovery and from paper and metal recyclings. So another effect is from public attitude and legislation on the solid waste. So whenever the people are like initiatives for conserving natural resources and reduce economic burden will again this major solid waste management rule 2016 and the Swachh Bharat mission are a major emphasis in the public attitude change and the behavioral change to reduce our use of recycling materials. So that is the major thing in the mentioned in the Swachh Bharat mission. And legal laws and legislation, that is again in the 2016 rule itself it was mentioned. Sustainable snack pack material, these are all the articles you can see. Chips and confectionery packets account for the largest share of plastic waste in India. And metallized polypropylene, once the plastic is in homogeneous form, that is only polyethylene or only LDPE or only HDPE, it is easy to recycle. But metallized polypropylene, if you see any chips packet You can see one aluminum layer inside, one plastic layer inside, one paper layer, one wax layer. So this kind of different layers of like it is not mono layer, it is like multi-layer packaging. If it is more, then it is difficult to recycle. So that type of law and regulation should be there to reduce this kind of multi-packaging materials. So encouraging the purchase and use of recycled materials by allowing differential pricings. So once the market is giving low value for the recyclable material and high value for non-recyclable material, then the people will automatically go and buy the recyclable materials. So that's the thing, we have to encourage the public to participate. And the effect of geography and the physical factors, like hilly area will produce lesser waste than the plain areas, because there is no option to treat and collect in the hilly areas. So the hilly area will automatically produce lesser waste. And the season of the year will like production is higher during warmer than the colder region. In the colder region, people will produce lesser waste. So these are all typical things we have to note down. And the frequency of collection. Once the government is ordering like instead of day-to-day collection, once in a week of collection, then the people will automatically store lesser waste or will produce lesser waste. So more waste is generated with unlimited collection services. If the collection crew is coming every day to your home and collecting the waste, then then the people will generate more waste. If the crew is coming once in a week, then the people will automatically reduce the waste generation. So that is the factor, the frequency of collection that will affect the waste generation. And the service area, if it is high income group, it will produce more waste. If it is a low income group, it will automatically produce less waste. So this is based on economy difference. So this 3R facility we have to follow to reduce the waste that is generated, reduce, reuse and recycle. Once the paper, if you want to write, so instead of writing, you are noting down in the notepad of your phone, that it is automatically reducing the waste that is generated. And once you have written in a paper in a single side, then you are using the back side for writing, then you are reusing the same paper for another purpose, that is called reuse. Once your both sides got over, and this paper can be used to make any cardboard or any packaging material, then it is called recycling. So the same paper you are using for some other purpose in another form, so that is called recycle. And after recycle, that cardboard, if you are using to extract energy, if you are burning and you're extracting energy, then it's called recovery. That is the fourth R, recovery of energy out of the waste. Once everything was extracted, finally the ash is left. That ash should be disposed in the dump site or the landfill in a proper scientific manner. That is called disposal. So this is all integrated solid waste management approach you have to follow. It should start from reduce. Reduce we have to follow the most, and then reuse. If not possible, we have to recycle. After that, we have to extract everything, that is recovery. Then finally only we have to dispose. You should not dispose at the first phase itself. So there are all 3R and 6R principles we are going to see in the upcoming weeks. So hope it is clear about the session. If you have any doubts, you can post in the comment box, or we can go to the problem solving session, or you can unmute and you can ask. Okay, I will start the problem solving session. In the meantime, if you have any doubts, you can post in the comment box, or you can stop me in between and you can ask the question, no issues. Or you can ask at the end also. I'll read the question, you can post
Excuse
the
me, sir.
answer. Yeah, please.
When you are saying problem solving session, so it means there will be a numerical questions or the theoretical question in the form of MCQs.
Both will be there.
Okay.
In the upcoming weeks, we are going to solve some design problems, I think. So you will have numerical questions also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, and this municipal solid waste is major theoretical subject only, but individually you have numerical question also.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
why I am asking this question, because I have registered for 2 courses,
Okay.
and both the courses are having a simultaneous session. So I am unable to join any one. So probably I will be joining the session which will be having a numerical session solving.
You have registered for more courses, means in the sense, sorry?
One more question is there, which is related to the wastewater treatment and recycling, and they are having the same timing for the session. Like on this same schedule, the another session is going on.
Okay, okay. Then actually wastewater treatment, that is also again having theoretical. You can this will be more of theoretical only.
Okay.
Okay. You can choose. You can choose accordingly.
Yes, sir.
And another one is the recording will be posted in the Swayam platform itself. At the bottom, you can see problem solving session. The recording will be there. You can see anytime.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll read the question. You can post the answer in the chat box. The first question is match the following. What is garbage, rubbish, scrap, and debris? So it will the one which have high metal content, the one which have bulky and the construction from the construction site, one which contains kitchen waste, and the one which contains high ash content. So you can match and you can post the answer in the chat box like A, B, C, D. Simply you can post in the chat box. Option D. D is like first one A to 3. Garbage is kitchen waste. Garbage is kitchen waste. That is correct. Okay. Because garbage will contain more moisture content. Kitchen waste only. Rubbish. Rubbish will be from having high ash content. That is also correct. Scrap. So scrap. Somebody posted C. So they have mismatched B and C. Okay. Scrap is the one that will be from the industry. So it will have more metal content. So C with 1 is correct. And then debris. Debris will be having construction and demolition waste, which is of bulky in nature. Yeah, that is also correct. So option D is correct. Yeah, option D is correct. Okay. So the next question. So here you can see refuse will be from the kitchen. Garbage will be kitchen waste. Rubbish will be the high ash content. Scrap will have high metal content. Debris will have from C and D waste. So the total will be in the name of refuse. The second question is, what is the current municipal solid waste management rule in India? The current one, the latest one.
D 2016.
Yeah, you can post in the chat box also. Yeah. So the first rule came into picture in 2000. That is Municipal Solid Waste Management Rule 2000. After the Surat plague and that Dr. Almitra Patel's public interest legislation in Supreme Court, the Municipal Solid Waste Management Rule 2000 came into picture, but it was again amended in 2016. That is the latest solid waste management rule. So option D is correct. Yeah. So here we have mentioned in the slide 9, solid waste management rule 2016 is the latest. Okay, third question, what are the sampling method for the solid waste characterization? Proximate method, ultimate method, cluster method, quartering method.
For example,
Quartering method.
if you are, let's say, cement you are using to manufacture houses and everything. So this concrete or cement.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you?
Carbon dioxide.
D. Quartering
and now
method.
What you can do is that it is very easy. Basically, if you want to capture that carbon dioxide.
Yeah. D is correct.
Put some chemicals in there. It will absorb all the carbon dioxide.
D is correct. Quartering method is correct. Yeah. So this is what we have discussed for the sampling of solid waste designed by NEERI. In India, we are using quartering method to simply take 100 kg and by 4 quarters we are separating, and finally we are getting 12 kg of waste for the characterization. Yeah. The fourth question is, what type of waste are not included in municipal solid waste? So more than one option are correct. This is multiple choice question. Which is not included in MSW? Plastic and paper from school, sanitary napkin waste from household, road sweeping and dead animals, pulp and paper mill sludge from paper industry.
Option D, sir.
More than one answer may be correct. So option A is plastic and paper from school.
But these things things will take some time, maybe next 50,
B,
60 years.
sir.
And
You can post the answer in the chat box, please.
one drawback that I have seen, that even though we
Because paper and plastic from school is included in the solid waste. The question is which is not included. So which is not included?
It could be option D, sir.
Option B. Yeah, sanitary napkin is the hazardous waste from the household, and pulp and paper mill is a industrial waste. So option B and D are correct. Yeah, these two are not included in the solid waste. Plastic and paper from the school is again a part of solid waste only, institutional waste. Road sweeping and dead animals is also a part of municipal solid waste only. So we have three types of municipal solid waste we have discussed. One is residential, commercial and institutional. This all comes under municipal solid waste only. Yeah. So fifth question is, which of the following is not a component of physical waste characteristics? Proximate analysis, specific weight, particle size, field capacity. Which is not a physical characteristics of waste. Which is not a physical characteristics.
Option A, sir.
Which is not a physical. So physical we had seen four things. One is specific weight, particle size, composition and field capacity. In the chemical characteristics we have discussed about proximate, ultimate and energy content. So here it is asking which is not a physical characteristic. So proximity analysis is correct.
Proximity analysis, sir.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So everybody can participate in the discussion. You can post the answer in the chat box. Or you can also note down, no issues. So here you can see proximate analysis is a chemical characteristics. Okay. So the sixth question is quantity of waste generated in high income group as compared to low income group. High income group will be more or less.
and
E.
unfortunately that file
No, you can rethink.
And it is easy to capture, just like I said.
You can rethink because high income group will produce more waste compared to low income group. So option A is correct. Yeah, high income group will produce more waste than the low income group. But the density, if you see, specific weight and the density will be higher for low income group because they have more moisture content. So the density will be higher. But quantity wise, a high income group will produce more waste. Yeah, here you can see from the graph. This is 96% of the waste is generated by this. More waste is generated by the high income group. What are the following elements are not measured in ultimate analysis? Hydrogen, phosphorus, carbon, nitrogen. So you have measured 5 elements from the ultimate analysis, which is not included. Hydrogen, phosphorus, carbon, nitrogen. Yeah, option B is correct because ultimate analysis we are discussing about CHONS. You can remember by CHONS: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and nitrogen. So phosphorus is not included in ultimate analysis. Here you can see the results. Eighth question is, after which initiative segregation of waste came into practice? Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, Swachh Bharat Mission, Shiksha Abhiyan, waste management policy. So after which initiative segregation of the waste came into practice? Yeah, option B is correct. Swachh Bharat Mission. Swachh Bharat Mission came into picture in 2014 with the aim its major aim is to avoid open defecation. There should not be any open defecation in India. That was the major aim. Then followed by proper solid waste management. So it has created about 10 lakh public toilets in India, and it has the aim of there should be zero open defecation in the year 2019. That is the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi ji. So that was the aim the Swachh Bharat mission was framed in 2014. So you can read about Swachh Bharat mission in Wikipedia and most of the government website. There is a separate website for Swachh Bharat mission also. And now we are in Swachh Bharat mission 2.0. So that also you can read. In the upcoming week, I will also discuss about the website. Yeah. So Swachh Bharat mission 2014 aims in public awareness, waste segregation. Yeah. So question 9. What is the temperature and time required for finding out the moisture content of solid waste? 104 at 10 hours, 104 degree, 24 hours, 105 degree, 3 hours, 105 degree, 1.5 hours. Yeah, correct. So option B is correct. 104 degree for 24 hours in oven, hot air oven, you can find the moisture content. So that's the answer. Which of the parameters are not measured in proximate analysis? Measured in proximate. In the proximate analysis, we have studied about moisture, ash, volatile, and fixed. CHONS and calorific value. Yeah. Proximate analysis deals with the moisture, ash, volatile, fixed. So the answer is D, which is not included. So calorific value. Yeah. So this is about what we have discussed is 2023's assignment. Now we are going to discuss about 2022 assignment. What is the sequence of functional element of solid waste management? Generation, and the final one is disposal. That is correct. Yeah. Generation is first, final one is disposal. In between, we have discussed about the overview or the functional element of the solid waste, 6 functional elements. So you can arrange
Fourth
in
option.
sorry. Yeah. Option 2. Generation, that will be stored on site, then it was primarily collected and secondary collection, then finally transfer and transportation, processing, disposal. Okay, so this is the proper sequence of functional element of solid waste management. You can see generation, on-site handling, collection, processing, then transfer, transportation, disposal. So this is the proper thing. So option 2 is correct. Not okay. Why you posted D? Generation, collection. No. Generation ka on-site storage. It's not it's not the bin storage. If it is a bin storage, then it's collection, then storage. If it is on-site storage, then on-site storage should come second. So option 2 is correct. Generation, on-site storage, collection, transfer, transport, processing, disposal. Please correct your answers. Okay. So the second question is total amount of moisture that can be retained in the waste sample subject to downward slope gravity. So after water that is drained out due to gravity, whatever the amount of moisture that is left or retained is called, this is the property of the solid waste, physical property of the solid waste. Gravity separated, densification, water holding capacity, or field capacity.
Field capacity.
Yeah. So option D is correct, field capacity. Yeah. So this is the definition is total amount of moisture that can be retained in the waste subjected to the downward pull of gravity. Yeah. So the third question is what are the sampling method for waste characterization? This was already discussed, that is squattering method. Yeah. Correct. So fourth question, dash consists of bulky waste such as those from construction site. From the construction site, this also was already discussed.
Debris.
Yeah, debris. This we have discussed. Debris is a bulky waste from the construction site. So the fifth question, which of the following element are not measured in the ultimate? This is also phosphorus. Okay. What is the temperature and time required to find solid waste ash content? No, ash content, not moisture content.
550 degree for 2 hours.
Option 4 is correct. Yeah. 550 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. So here you can see moisture is 104 degree at 24 hours, ash is 550 degree and 2 hours, volatile is volatile. Anyone about volatile? It was mentioned in this. Yeah, here 700 to 950 degrees Celsius in a covered crucible. This is also for 2 hours only. Volatile we will flame. So this 3 will be subtracted from 100%. You will get the fixed carbon. Okay, fine. So the 7th question, moving on. Waste with a high proportion of fixed carbon requires. So what is the problem with the fixed carbon, or what it requires? Fixed carbon is a char. The char will be fixed to the surface of the grate for longer retention time. So the option 2 is correct. So it will require longer retention time on the surface of the grate. So that's the problem with the fixed carbon. It's a left after volatile matter is removed, carbon remaining on the surface of the grate as char. With this high proportion of fixed carbon requires longer retention time on the furnace grates. So whenever the solid waste is fed into the incinerator, it will be combusted. A combustor or incinerated, it is incinerated, and finally the whenever the fixed carbon is higher, it will be retained on the grate for the longer time. So that's the problem. So this is again a multiple choice question. Method used to estimate waste quantity. You can make it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Multiple choice question. So it's a multiple choice question. Method used to estimate waste quantity. More than one answer. So first one is load count method. Second one is weight volume analysis. Third one is mass balance. So all the 3 are correct. 1, 2, 3. The answer is 1, 2, 3. This is what we have mentioned. Load count analysis is number of individual load and the corresponding waste characteristics. Simple multiplication we can find. Waste volume analysis is based on the vehicle that is entering into the transfer station and emptying out of the transfer station. The difference in the weight will be the weight volume analysis. And we know the volume of the truck, so we can easily estimate. That is a weight volume analysis. The final one is material mass balance analysis. That is for an industry or anything, we can easily commercial activity we can easily find by mass balance. How much accumulation of the waste will be equal to how much inflow minus how much outflow plus how much generation. So this is simple mass balance. So all the 3 options are correct. 1, 2, 3. Okay, question 9. Factors affecting waste generation rate. Factors not affecting waste generation rate. Source reduction, recycling activity, public attitude and legislation. No, you can relook into the answers. Question please. Not 3, not 1. Factors not affecting. Yeah. Option 4 is correct. None of the above. Yeah, option 4 is correct. So factors affecting waste generation rate, when it is reduced in the source itself, so the waste generation rate is reduced. Whenever the recycling activity is higher, the waste generation is reduced. Whenever the public attitude and legislation was stronger, the waste generation is reduced. So all these factors affects the solid waste generation rate. So none of the above is the correct answer. So for 10th question, in India, the highest percentage of recycling is done for paper, plastic, metal, glass. Highest recycling percentage. Sorry, highest percentage of recycling. Yeah, is for plastic. Plastic, it's correct. So here you can see recycling rates in India. Plastic will have 60% of recycling, 27% of recycling for paper, and 25% for metal. Yeah. So that's it about today's session. Every week we are having 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday, the problem solving session. So first 1 hour we will be discussing the same lecture material. Then another 45 minutes we will be discussing the problem solving session. So thanks for joining. If you have any queries, you can mail me or you can ask in the next sessions. There will be another two sessions handled by the PMR scholars in separate times. You can get the you can get the information from the mail. If you have any queries, you can put it in the chat box. You can unmute and ask. I will be here in the meeting up to 8 o'clock. Those who are not having any queries, you can leave the meet. Thank you so much for joining.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have one doubt. These sessions will be there on same regular schedule. Like on every Wednesday, we will be having 6 to 8
Every Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yes.
Yeah, it's fixed timing. No, there won't be any change in the time.
Okay.
That I will be handling on Tuesday 6 to 8.
Okay, sir.
Ah. Thank you so much for joining.
And or
Thank
some
you,
other
sir.
energy related areas where they
Yeah, you can leave the meet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm ending the meeting. Thank you.